I'm Joshua Wyatt. I'm a dentist in Tampa, Florida. I have a practice called South Tampa Dentistry, and I have a practice called Tampa Dentistry. And I bought Tampa Dentistry in October of 2012. Hadn't heard of Breakaway, hadn't heard of any of the support, of anything like that. Grew the practice, and then I realized I had a problem when my wife, who was pregnant, went into labor. She called the office. I was busy with patients. Front desk didn't answer. She called the office again, front desk didn't answer. She called again, front desk didn't answer. So I was a little delayed getting to the hospital because nobody answered the phone. So after then, I was familiar with Breakaway. I kind of knew of the services, and I talked with Pedro, I talked with Scott, I talked with Fabio, and it was a no-brainer. I mean, to have somebody answer the phones, because if my wife is calling and she's just telling me she's in labor, I've got other patients that are calling to schedule. They have a toothache, they need dental work, and they can't get through. And immediately they hang up, they go to the next dentist. So signed up for Breakaway. I did their phone service. They were last in line to answer phones. So last July, I attended the Breakaway seminar on managing a practice. Scott goes through his phones, everything, and he talks about how important the phones were, which I already knew because of my wife's and I's experience. And he calls an office, and he gets a person on the phone, and he pretends to be a patient. He says, "Yes, I need a crown." And it was just garbage. The person on the phone was garbage. So there was 80 of us, there was 100 of us there, and stupid me volunteers to have him call my office. So he calls my office. This was Friday. He calls my office, and my front desk answers the phone very abruptly, not warm, not welcoming, and you couldn't even hear her. So it was so bad, he actually hung up, called again, and the same thing happened. So again, that moment, that Friday, I knew I had another problem. So now the phones are getting answered. If they weren't getting answered by my staff, they were being answered by Breakaway after the third ring. But now they weren't trained on the phone. And I've never had phone experience. I'm a dentist. I don't know how to answer phones. I don't know how to train somebody to answer phones. So when that Friday, after that experience, I immediately went over to Fabio or Scott or somebody, and I immediately moved them to first in line. And ever since then, we've averaged 300, 350 new patients a month. Since then, I've added an associate, we've expanded the hours, I've bought a new practice, and I've copied the same business plan that I have for Tampa Dentistry that I had for South Tampa Dentistry. And then in 2 weeks, I closed on a new building, and that's going to be Clearwater Dentistry, and it's going to be the same thing. So Breakaway support, I can't speak highly enough. They've gotten me here, and we've got patients in the door. But my South Tampa office has gotten so busy that I don't even advertise anymore. And we're still seeing 300 and 350 new patients. Like I was talking to Scott earlier about, I've got a great problem, but it's still a problem because I looked at the screen that Breakaway has. It's an awesome call center information screen, and it tells you how many phone calls you've had. And these aren't tracking numbers. These are just calls to your main line. And I had 88. And that was today when I looked at 4 o'clock Central Time. So, I'm sure we'll end up with 100 incoming phone calls today, and that's with zero advertising. So if I tracked my dollars, I could probably drop a couple insurances and, pick up some revenue that way, but I don't have time right now. I need to do it. It's a must. I mean, it's hands down, it's great staff. Onboarding is worth I don't want to say headache, but the process. It's worth the process because it's not something where you sign up for Breakaway and then tomorrow they're going to answer your phones custom tailored to how you answer them. No, it's a process. You have to get IT on your server. You have to go through onboarding with the scheduling department. You have to fill out applications so that they tell you exactly what kind of practice you have, because when patients call, and today I had a phone call from my contractor on my cell phone, and I was busy in the practice, and then he called my front desk. He talked to somebody I don't even know. So when I got out, I called him back. He goes, "Yeah, I just talked to Adriana at the front desk, and she said you're out of town." I'm like, "Yeah, remember, I don't answer my phones. You talked to somebody in Breakaway." He goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot. I just assumed I was talking to somebody in your front desk because they were so good." So yeah. And he had no idea, and he even knew. I've directly told him, like, he did the first 2 practices, he's going to do the third one, and he called me and he couldn't get through, so he called my cell and couldn't get through. So then he called the main line and he talked to Breakaway, who was us, and he was talking to somebody who was in the building that I'm at in San Antonio.